Okay, I want to start a new section of my Udemy course, and for those of you listening in on YouTube, we're going to look at some of the other stems. We've learned the Hiph'il stem. In fact, there's a Hiph'il stem in this verse. But now we want to seal the deal with the Nephal stem, the Hiph'il stem, and perhaps the Pl stem. There are a couple other little ones. I think that's enough. Three stems is enough for this section of the course. And we'll do some verses just for fun in the meantime as we move forward. So let's go to Jonah 3:7. The king of Nineveh has just put on sackcloth and ashes, and now in this verse he's going to call Nineveh to repent. See if you can pronounce that Hebrew. Here's how I would pronounce it. Vayaz ek vayomer ba Nineveh mita'am. Okay. Anything you recognize here? There's a lot of things you should recognize here. Vav patak doubling. What's that? It's a preterit, or converted imperfect. It's preterit. I want to increasingly say preterit because converted imperfect isn't quite right. The yod tells you what? Well, it's imperfect. And in fact, that it's what person and number. It's a third person. It is singular because there's no u on the end, so it's just the yod. So it's third masculine singular. Converted imperfect. What stem is it? Notice there's a patak under the performative, and there's no guttural here, so that's a genuine patak. We've found a genuine patak. What is that a tell sign of? It's a telltale sign of the Hiph'il or H stem, the causative stem. The sere appears in the third masculine singular of that Hiph'il. A lot of times we would say a hierarch yod is after the second radical is a telltale sign, but it goes to sere in the third masculine singular of the preterit. So, this is going to be a really bad translation, but I wanted to get the sense out. And he caused to call out, that is, he made a proclamation. Send this out. Call this out. I'm causing you to do this. He made a proclamation, is basically what it means. And you could have just looked up za'ak in the Hiph'il, and it would have said something like to proclaim as one of the options. And he proclaimed. But it is the Hiph'il stem, so it may have that sense of causation on some level, perhaps. So, and he proclaimed, vayomer, and he said. Now, again, what's vav patak doubling? It is a preterit. What's the yod? It's a third masculine singular. There's no shruk. And it's from amar, to say. Vayomer, this is very, very common form. So you should have that memorized eventually. Why not now? Just take a moment and let the sun fry that on your brain. Vayomer, and he said. So, and he proclaimed, and he said, what's ba? Ba is in. What's Nineveh? It's Nineveh. What's mem hierarch doubling? It's min, the preposition min, and nun assimilates when no vowel separates, and there's the from the min. Ta'ak, decree, and it's decree of, it's in construct, decree of Hamelech, decree of the king. I'm not sure how you would know that was, I think it looks the same in both the absolute and construct form, but just because of the expression, from the decree of the king. Hamelech, what's he patak doubling? It's the. What's melech? It's king. See, so much here. What's gadol? It's the word for great. What's a sharuk? That's the word and. What's the vav on the end? That's his. So, and the decree of the king and his great ones. That is the nobility of Nineveh, of Assyria. Notice that this is written defectively. There's normally a vav after the dalet. The yod is what tells you it's ones plural. It would be gadolim if it were absolute, or gadolei if it were construct, although I don't know if it's an adjective. But anyway, from the king and his great ones. Saying, lemor. This is another very, very common, I think we've seen this before, very, very common expression in the Old Testament. And we translate it something like saying. It's literally to say. This is what's called an infinitive construct. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned infinitive constructs before. We will require you to know it soon enough. But the holum after the second consonant is one indicator of the infinitive construct. The infinitive construct is used with prepositions. That's another indication, a verb with a preposition on it. Might be an infinitive construct. Could also be a participle, but might be an infinitive construct. So put it all together. Well, let me pronounce this. First of all, pronounce this line. This line is Hamelech u Gedoliv lemor. Okay? So, and he proclaimed and said in Nineveh, quote, from the decree of the king and his great ones, saying, and then let's go ahead and finish. This is what I've already said. I just broke down this first word. So there you got the vav patak doubling. That's the preterit or converted imperfect. You've got the yod. That's third masculine singular. You've got the patak. That's an indicator that it's a Hiph'il or H stem. And then the seri is also an indicator that it's a Hiph'il or H stem. Okay, let's do the rest of the verse, shall we? Pronounce that line. Here's how I would pronounce it. Ha'adam va'abahema ha'bakar v'hazon al yitamu. Okay, so Adam, you should know that. That's the word for Adam, the word for man, or more generically, person. So the person. Now, I know that this is adjussive here at the end. It's a command. So I went ahead and pulled the let taste not. I went ahead and pulled the let up to the front. So stay tuned for where the let came from. But the person, that's the word the, right? It has compensatory lengthening. What's the vav? It's and. What's hey patak doubling? It's the. What's a behemah? It's a behemoth. It's an animal. It's a beast. Let the person and the beast. What is hey patak doubling? It's the. What's bakar? It's a herd or cattle. Let the person and the beast and the cattle, or and the herd. V'hazon. What's hey patak doubling? It's the. And sheep are in the zone. Zone is a sheep. This is the sheep zone. You're not allowed here. Only sheep. It's very smelly. So let the person and the animal and the herd and the flock all yitamu. So all, you should know this word. This is the word for not, a word for not, but it's the command word for not. It's a hint that this is in fact not an imperfect, but adjussive. Let taste not. Let them not taste. Let them eat cake. Do not let them eat cake. Do not let them taste. So what do we know about this form? We've got a yod with sharuk. It's third masculine plural, and it is imperfect, but because the all, it's jussive, okay? Let them taste not. All right, next line. Can you pronounce it? Here's my pronunciation. Ma'uma al yir'u umayim al yishtu. Okay, so let the person and the animal and the herd and the sheep taste not me'amu, nothing. Let them taste nothing, nada, zilch. Let them not taste anything. Me'amu is something. Here's another adjussive. There's another adjussive. Al. You can call me Betty, and I will call this al. This is not. Not let them feed, and water not let them drink. So these are also adjussives. And they're also third masculine plural because you have the yod. Yod, shruk, 1-2 punch. Yod, shruk, 1-2 punch. Do not let them taste. Do not let them feed. Do not let them drink water. Okay, so let's look at these adjussives, shall we? So the first adjussive up here, this is a pretty normal. It's yiktalu, is that third masculine plural form. So we've got yiktalu, except it's opened up. It's like a normal imperfect, but the ayin has opened up because it opens it up. It doesn't. Gutturals don't do simple vocal schwas, and so it's opened it up a little bit, just a little bit, into a short I-class vowel. So it's adjussive, like a normal imperfect in form, but ayin opens up the vowel, and I know it's adjussive because of the command of the all, negative command, and the context. Let's look at the next one. So again, this is just like the normal imperfect, yir-u, but the hey goes away. The word is ra'ah, which means to tend or to graze, that kind of thing. But the hey goes away. It's a third hey weak verb. So you see here we have all three letters, the tet, the ayin, the mem. We've got all three letters. It's a strong verb. But ra'ah is a weak verb. It's a third hay, and the hay went away. Same thing with yishtu. This is from shata, to drink. These are both of these. All three of these are third masculine plural because of the 1-2 punch of the yod sharuk. But the hay has gone away. Shata, the hay has gone away. Well, that's an awful lot. But we've done a verse, right? We have done a verse basically where not only is the king put on sackcloth and ashes, but he's commanding the whole city of Nineveh, including the animals, to repent, so that maybe the Lord will do something different than what Jonah is telling them he is going to do. Maybe he'll change his mind, which is an interesting theological concept that we'll wait for the next verse.